Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As you can see by the title of today's video, we're going over the top 5 2v2 lineups in NBA 2K20. Now real quick, I want to explain before we get started, this is not the most skill based, it's flat out just the best lineups on 2v2. Now, with that said, I'm sure a lot of you guys can imagine what number 1 is, but anyway, we'll move along with this. If y'all enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties, all that good stuff. We get this like 500 or 1,000 likes, that'd be tight, but anyway, moving along, hope y'all enjoy. Number 5, we have the Play Sharp and Pure Rim or Pure Lock combo, whatever you want to call it. The reason I say Pure Lock, I feel like that is just the better combo for the Play Sharp on the 2v2. I feel like a Pure Rim kind of exposes the lack of defense from the 1. But at the end of the day, this is the number 5. It's not meant to be the best, but I figured why not put a common lineup in here that a lot of you guys, are very familiar with and have seen. This is a very good Park 2v2 lineup. I would say the Pure Rim at the 2 is not necessarily a good idea in stage, just at the fact of how much ISO and pick and pop and, pick and roll that's more guard oriented you're going to run into. But anyway, the positives and negatives to this lineup, obviously, like I said, the lack of defense from the 1, but the sheer offense that it has, and then the lack of offense at the 2, but the sheer defense that it has. Now, like I said, I think this would be a little bit better ran if it were a Pure Lock rather than a Pure Rim. I feel like the guard is going to get exposed on screens and needs a mobile, fast help defender to kind of pick up on those, or maybe, be comfortable switching on to guards and when like your quote-unquote big man will get put into an ISO. But anyway, moving along, that is my number 5. If you disagree with any of these, feel free to let me know and just comment about it. Leave any of your feedback of what you think your top 5 is, or if you want to trim it down to your top 3 just because you don't want to write all that much out, feel free to. But hey, anyway, moving along to number 4, we have the BP build along with the Rim Sharp. So shout out to Joe for this screenshot. A lot of these I've just kind of like taken from other people's videos and just screenshotted and put for like, a picture to show of like the build. But this is a scoring machine at the 2. Don't get me wrong, it's not the actual BP build, but like I said, a point guard offensive threat, the slash sharp combo, and then a rim sharp at the big man spot. Now, the thing about the rim sharp at the big man spot, I feel like when you see what's further on to this list and you see the substitution of that rim sharp at the big man spot, you're gonna, honestly, it's ridiculous what you could do on this 2v2 stuff if you had something different. But I'll explain that as we get into it later. The positives and negatives to this lineup. Again, you have a pretty low defensive build as far as the point guard goes. Obviously, with the BP build, you're going to be very good on the finishing, shooting, and playmaking, and you're going to be lacking defense quite a bit. Simple as that. Now, some people find good ways to get the defensive badges on. It's not a complete defensive liability, but it's still not going to be pretty. I'll promise you that. Now, obviously, the nice thing about the Rim Sharp is on like Park 2v2, like I said, a lot of times you can just lead a guard to the hoop, call it good. You'll have a big man sitting in the paint. Now, the thing is, when you have a tall Rim Sharp and a small BP build, it's going to be a whole lot of getting just put into situations you don't want to be in. So the build, the combo of 2v2 that's right after this at number 3, you're gonna see why I have this like duo right here so low. So we'll just get into that and explain the kryptonite of the BP build. So number 3 is the Play Defender and Rim Sharp. So the thing about this is, like I said, you have the Rim Sharp just constantly like one Rim Sharp on another Rim Sharp. These guys are never going to switch on to the point guards, first of all, or maybe against the Play Defenders they would. But long story short, what you're going to see a lot of is that BP build, the offensive threat, it's just not big enough or good enough at interior defense to guard either of these builds, and both of these builds can shoot. Now, when we move along with this even further, you're probably wondering like, yo, Laker, how the heck can this be number 3? This is like such a great lineup. I'm here to explain. There are things about 1 and 2 that are just mind-boggling. But anyway, let me just give a little bit more of a breakdown on these lineups. So to explain the problems, and I'll backtrack real quick to this to the BP build and the Rim Sharp, the positives and negatives. So the positives, the offense is great. You have good spacing with a good shooter with the Rim Sharp. You have an offensive player that is just going to be able to get whatever he wants. You could run pick and pops. You could run like ISO. You could even like baby the point guard with this Rim Sharp if they decide to switch him onto him. And at the end of the day, this is a very hard to guard build right here. Now, obviously, like I said, it's the scoring machine. Shout out to Vampire too, but it's the scoring machine, don't get me wrong, but obviously like it's intended to be the offensive threat point guard. Now, the negatives, obviously, the interior defense from the 1 and then the lack of perimeter defense from the 2, I feel like these are never going to be a very good combo as far as the defense. And then this right here, great defense. The positives and negatives, I think the positives very much so outweigh the negatives with this lineup. Oh my bad, no, I'm tripping. This is not the right one. Okay. the positives very much so outweigh the negatives with this lineup right here. You have great defense. Both of them can shoot. Now, is it at a great rate that they can shoot? Not necessarily, especially with the play defender, but in an ISO, you can definitely get like the right shot off constantly. Now, when you run into something where, say it's like two bigs, this can be a little bit of a problem, because the idea behind this lineup right here specifically is to just dominate like outside point guards that have little defense and they're very small. And like I said, the whole point behind this lineup right here is just to take advantage of that. Now, like I said, when you run into two bigs, or for that matter, when you run into something like this right here, this is where things will get real ugly. So the thing is, with this lineup right here, I don't know if you guys are familiar. If you're not with X I Know Nut, bro, this build is crazy. I've seen it firsthand. Dope has the same build on that, you know, plays with me on my channel, and he has it's the Playmaking Defender. So roughly at 6'7" to 6'8", this is the best area for this build to be used at. The thing about this is that it can guard anybody on the court. It is just ridiculous. And bro, and if you have two of them, you have dimer, floor general for each of each other. You have defensive leader for both of each other. And bro, it's just like, the versatility on this is ridiculous. I mean, you could switch everything. You could not switch at all. You have a great like help side defender on the backside with the speed that he has. You got great shooting. You can target the worst matchup possible in just an ISO, and the other one just spots up. Now, you're not going to see much screening with this lineup. You're not going to see any pick and pops, pick and rolls, stuff like that. You're just not respected enough as a shooter for that. But like I said, the whole point behind it is just give the ball to the guy that has the weakest defender on him, and it's as simple as that. You're both great defenders. You're like, if you give the ball back, you're both great defenders. You're both great rebounders. It's a crazy lineup in my opinion, and I think this could have gave a run for #1. Now, I will say with this lineup too, I don't see many people run this, and I think that this could be something that is like ridiculously overpowered if people mastered it. Now, moving along to the #1 build like combo, and this is straight from Tycino's vid. And obviously he did a series where he wagered these guys, and this is just the most ridiculous lineup. It takes very minimal skill, but it's so hard to stop. The interior force and the two-way finisher. Now, two-way finisher means pure lock, interior force means post score. Now, I think what could be done better with it is, and I don't know what this guy did with it, whether it's a pure stretch or not, but honestly, pure stretch, totally the move with this. The thing about this lineup is, you have the big man who actually has good interior defense just because he's so tall. Now, the negative to that would be, oh, if you go 7'3", you have horrible backside defense. You literally can't pick up for screens very much at all, and you just sit paint. Now, the thing about it is, this pure stretch, he doesn't have to do anything because he has a dude with 99 everything defense and perfect physical attributes on the front side of every single screen. Now, I think this would be best ran at 6'7", 6'6", pure lock probably, and the thing that makes the offense so ridiculous, bro, and I don't know what the lock would be upgraded. My pure lock, as you guys probably know, has no shooting but great playmaking, finishing, and defending. Now, the thing about that is, obviously, like the no shooting, you would think that doesn't go well with this, but I will say with the pure stretch, you really don't need to be able to shoot. It's honestly kind of funny. So, and I'm gonna get real toxic and break down how this lineup could work the best. And I don't really want to give you guys too many thoughts because this is a horrible lineup, like, you know, as far as like the toxicity to it. But I'll just explain some crazy things about it. At the end of the day, 2K needs to be the one that's able to patch this. It shouldn't be on me to not talk about this lineup in a OP sense. But anyway, to explain what makes this so ridiculous, if they have a very much so liability at the 1, what you could literally do is just have the pure lock go straight at him and have the pure stretch just spot up with the only good interior defender on him. Now, if you wanted to, let's say they put like a weak defender on the stretch. Now he just post fades all game, and the pure lock just sits in the paint and grabs rebounds. Now, even if you have two defenders on each other, right? The thing about this is, like, the close range post fades, no matter what, are just so OP in every sense of the game. And the thing about this lineup, I will say, that has the one piece of kryptonite that this lineup right here could give problems for is that 7-3 post score. He would have to get put into an ISO with one of those play defenders. Now, the thing about that is the rate of the ISO with the play defender good enough to stop this? I don't think so. I think the stretch big post fade cheese is just good enough to the point where it's very hard to stop. And I mean, it's very unlikely that you do get your possessions back. But like I said, the one thing about this lineup is that you could take advantage of the pure stretch and all of a sudden that pure lock becomes like, you know, irrelevant because you literally just, he's stuck in the corner. He can't do anything. Now, I think these top 2 lineups are the by far best in my opinion. I understand the play defender and the, you know what I mean, the two-way slashing playmaker, you know, the small version, the guard, and the rim sharp. But the thing is, like, what's the rim sharp really good for at the end of the day if a play defender can do the exact same thing? I mean, I don't know, because you're not really going to see much pick and pop with that two-way slash play in the rim sharp. You're going to see mostly ISO. The rim sharp just sits corner and then basically dominates, you know, the guard when he switches onto him. But the play defender can do the exact same thing, and the play defender can ISO at the end of the day. So I don't know, it's pretty crazy if you ask me, that double play defender lineup. But to kind of detail this lineup one last time, the thing about it too is if this post has playmaking badges, he could even rock gold flashy passer, and then boom, the pure lock just dominates the little, like, you know, no interior defense guard with the hop steps and dunks, and then boom, now the pure lock's getting his takeover, Stretch is getting his takeover. It's probably going to be post takeover, if anything, not the sharp spot up takeover. And honestly, that's the thing that makes this lineup even all the more OP, is the fact that if this post does get takeover and he's like, say, Elite 1, that post takeover is obviously so hard to stop, and it's just crazy. You know, it's funny that I made this top 5 2v2 lineups and none of them had slashers in them, but for the most part, if you want to adjust any of these, like, you know, pure locks, so to say, and like even in that number 1 or number 5 one at the very beginning where it was the play sharp and pure lock, you could even adjust this to my build where it's the slash defender. I think that's a very good lineup. And also, if you want to talk like this toxic one over here, you could even run the slash defender with this instead of the pure lock and it'd still be good. But the thing is with the pure lock, it's just so much mobility and so good for the ISO defense when, you know, that's mostly what these guards live off of. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you disagree, like I said, feel free to drop a comment. Just let me know what your top lineup is, or maybe just, you know, go ahead and just leave your top 3, top 5, whatever you feel like you want to leave, or say what you have a problem with on my own top 5 as well. Say what you don't think belonged in here, say what you do think belonged in here. Simple as that. Now anyway, if you made it to the end of the video, put top 5 in the comments if you made it to the end of the vid, just to show your support and that you show your loyalty, made it all the way through the end of the video. But anyway, like I said, top 5 if you made it all the way through. If we get this to like a 500, 1,000 likes, that'd be tight. And if you want me to do part 2 to this, where we do the top 3v3 lineups, let me know. And I could even do stage, I could even do like 5v5 pro-am lineups if you guys really wanted that. Now just like I said, leave the feedback, let me know what you want to see, and I'll bring it. Simple as that. Now anyway, hope y'all enjoyed. Other than that, take it easy, man. Peace.